Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain For You. Today's topic is going to be courage comes before you feel capable. So I'll get to that in a second. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Breathe in the courage. Exhale the fear. Breathe in the certainty. Exhale the doubt. Breathe in the zen. Exhale the chaos. So courage. A lot of people say, I'm too scared. I don't have courage. Not very brave, Dan. I don't know if I can do this. And so I don't want to build this up to be like the utmost important thing. But courage is required before you feel capable. In other words, when we start out anything new, we often don't feel too sure of ourselves. You know, I've been a musician all my life. When I was young, kind of wanted to play music. I was raised in a musical household. My dad was a music teacher and then later a conductor of a symphony orchestra. My mom was an elementary music teacher. And it was just kind of assumed growing up that, Dan, you're going to play music. And whether I liked it or not, I was going to play. Fortunately, being raised in that environment, I developed some ability and skills. So I've been playing drums, guitar, piano for much of my life. Drums and piano early on. I even played cello from elementary school through college. So my point here is, I didn't need to feel capable to begin. I just needed to say, okay, let me see where this goes. Let me get started. And fortunately in the music world, I had some capability and some really good help with mom and dad. So as it relates to this mind-body neural circuit pain, many people have said to me, Dan, I don't have what it takes. I'm too anxious. I've been fearful. I've been living in the stress response my entire life. I've had symptoms since I was 15. I'm 60 now. This isn't going to work for me. I don't know if I can do this. My brain always goes to the negative. I'm always thinking catastrophic. What if, worst case scenario thoughts. I can't do this. And so if that is you, I am going to strongly urge you to see if you can find some courage to at least begin. You don't have to be 100% certain that you've got everything it takes to do this. But you absolutely have enough to get started. And as you get started and you start noticing little victories and little bits of progress here and there, you're going to pick up some momentum. And what's going to build? Your confidence. And then you're going to feel more and more capable the more you do this, and the more evidence and proof you start to collect along the way. And what you're going to notice is, with the courage, that's the opposite of fear. And one of the big fuels for chronic symptoms is fear. So if you can step up and say, I'm going to be courageous and I'm going to begin this, you're automatically dialing down the fear. And so that's really important. So courage, I'm going to encourage you to find some courage. Be a little bit courageous and say, you know what, other people have done this. I can do it too. Look back in your life over anything that you accomplished, anything significant, and at some point look back and say, did I feel capable when I began that journey? I know with me, I've raised a son. He's 26, going on 27 next month. And I'll tell you what, when we first started to try to have a baby, and when we finally got pregnant with him, and when he was finally born and the hospital gave us this child to take home, and we're standing in the kitchen looking at each other with a look of sheer terror on our face going, now what? We don't know what we're doing. We certainly didn't feel capable as parents. But over time, we kind of got used to it. We got a little better at it. And yeah, sure, we made some mistakes. But, that's a prime example. Who here as a first-time parent has ever felt capable and I can do this? Unless you spend a bunch of time babysitting or raising siblings, younger siblings growing up. You probably didn't feel too capable when they sent you home with that new baby, first child. Scary stuff, right? But you got to begin where you begin. This is no different. If you don't feel capable, that's okay. You don't have to be completely convinced that you're capable of doing this. But please be convinced enough and courageous enough to begin. And so, I guess look at it this way. Look for evidence of progress. And if you haven't crossed the finish line yet, you haven't become completely pain or symptom free yet, that doesn't mean you're not making progress, right? If you were to run a marathon and at mile 15 you said, this isn't working, I'm not getting anywhere, I'm not making any progress, let me point out you're at mile marker 15. You are making progress. You haven't crossed the finish line yet. So as it relates to chronic pain or symptoms from this mind-body, TMS, neural circuit stuff, even if you haven't become pain-free yet, look for evidence and proof that you are making progress. Well, what does progress look like? Well, are you more certain about what this thing called TMS is? Are you more clear that this is what's going on with you? If you're not, that's a good place to start. Gain that clarity. Do the assessments again. Then, per my video yesterday, start looking for evidence and proof, right? Keep track of your wins. So if you have a little victory where you were able to do something that you hadn't done for a long time because it hurt too much previously, and you were able to do it, okay, that's a win. It's proof. Evidence. Keep track. That's progress. It's not perfect. I haven't met anybody where it just, boom, shut off instantly. It takes a little bit of time. Now, I'm not suggesting it's a marathon and it's going to take you, that long to get out of pain. When the brain gets the right message consistently, and you reduce the fear enough and you shift your attention back to living your life, more often than not, brain starts to pick up the hint, right? And once it does, you start to see more and more evidence of progress. And that progress will absolutely allow you to gain some momentum and confidence in your ability to do this. And it's like anything. The better you get at it, the more you practice it, the more clearly you're going to be able to see the finish line. I will get there. And so courage almost has to happen before you're going to feel truly capable, right? Because if you have to wait until you feel like totally capable before you ever start, you're probably never going to start. So courage, it's a decision. It's a decision to say, I'm going to set aside my fears and I'm going to begin. I'm going to start this stuff. And if it doesn't work out in the first day or two or a week or two, I'm not going to panic and freak out. Because as I always say, nobody ever got better by freaking out. All that does is kind of confirm the brain's perception that there's a problem, you're in danger. So all this stuff kind of works together. The certainty, the knowledge, the acceptance, the belief that this is what's causing your pain, some courage to begin. Look for evidence and proof that you're making progress. And progress could simply be you're understanding TMS and mind-body stuff a little bit better. And you're connecting the dots to what's been going on in your life. So this stuff isn't rocket science, guys. But you do need to get off the starting block and start taking some steps. Baby steps will still get you there. You've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't go at a sprint full bore for a week and then say this shit's not working and I'm going to quit. Then you get all full of despair and frustration and anger that this stuff isn't working, and then you judge yourself as I'm not capable. No, slow and steady, baby steps, incremental improvement. And what you're going to notice is as long as you keep moving forward, you're going to keep on making progress. And progress starts to lend itself to more and more proof and evidence more and more little wins, and little wins add up to big wins. And before you know it, you're doing way better than you were. And it is funny, I do talk to some people who hit me up and they'll say, I'm really frustrated. And I'll say, well, tell me a little bit about, where you were and where you are now. And they'll be like, oh, I'm way better than I was, but I'm still frustrated. I'm like, time out. You used to have like a level 8 or 9 out of 10 pain, and you're now really still pissed off that you still have a level 3. And so remind yourself of those victories and those wins, and look back and say, how far have I already come in this journey? The fact that you haven't crossed the finish line doesn't mean you're not making progress. As long as you keep on showing up every day and taking these baby steps, you're going to cross that finish line at some point. And don't care when. Just know that you're moving forward. Because the more you care when, and the more you say, will it happen by this date because I've got a trip planned, the more pressure you put on yourself, and then the more you're going to be hyper-analyzing every step you take, and it's not working yet, and getting more and more self-critical, I'm not doing it right. Just know that you don't have to do this perfectly. Consistency, in my opinion, is way more important than perfection. Consistent messages of safety. You've heard me say that a lot lately. You're going to keep on hearing me say it because it's really important. So, courage. You can do this. Get started. Keep track of your wins and your progress. Don't forget where you were at your worst. Not to scare you. Not to say, what if I go back to that? No, no, no. What I'm saying is, that's a great place to look back briefly, just to remind yourself how far you've already come. Remember back to the days where you didn't even know what this mind-body stuff was, and you were completely resigned to what the doctors told you, which is you're never going to get better. The best you can do is manage it, right? Look how far you've already come. So courage is going to want to show up before you feel completely capable. But please get started. Every race begins with the first step. And what happens after the first step? You take the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And if you trip in the middle of the race, what do? You get up and you keep on taking those steps forward. So, I believe in you. I hope you believe in yourself. Courage. You probably have a lot more of it than you realize. Let's apply it to a positive end. Because I'll tell you what, it takes a lot of courage to live with chronic symptoms and chronic pain. You get up every day and you fight your way through the day. Now it sucks and it's awful, but give yourself some credit. That takes a lot of courage. And if you think recovery is hard, living with pain is harder. So try to muster up some courage. Muster up some strength. You've probably got a lot more of both of those than you realize. If you need to, borrow some of mine, some of my confidence. I'll be here for you every day. And with that, I'm going to wrap this one up. Love you guys and gals. We'll see you tomorrow.